once again, everyone, welcome to the Hostaway monthly webinar series. This time we got a real special treat for you. We're gonna talk a bit and give some insights from Airbnb, and we have a very special guest here, Julia, joining us from New York City. On our Hostaway side, I'm Marcus. I'm the CEO and co-founder here. We also have Maria, our VP of Product, and Josh, our Chief Customer Officer. And we will be taking questions and hopefully giving good answers as well. So first, a brief introduction in case you're not familiar with Hostaway yet. We're the world's biggest vacation rental software. We got more customers with more properties than anyone else. And we are preferred plus partners of Airbnb. They rank all their software partners and place them in different categories. And we happen to be in the highest possible category, which is a combination of a lot of factors, including how well the integration is working, but also financials. Are we helping our customers get more bookings? And well, I won't go into detail, but it's if you're a Hostaway customer, that's a really good thing to know. Also, not all of you may know, but we're a very global team because our customer base is extremely global. So we got over 240 staff members all around the world. Right now, I think Maria is in Barcelona. I'm in the southern France, and Josh is visiting Phoenix for the VRMA trade show. If you have a chance to go to VRMA and you haven't been, I certainly recommend that. But now, Julia, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. I'm so happy to be here with everyone today. Yeah, it's great to be back with the Hostaway accounts. I'm Julia. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon. I'm in New York City this week, and happy to be coming to you all live. Before we get started, I do have to go over a couple of things that our legal team did want me to cover. This event is going to be recorded and may be posted to third-party platforms. If you don't want your likeness, name, or Zoom chats shared or seen, then just please use an alternative Zoom name and stay off the chat during the event. But we love to hear from you, so hopefully you're comfortable. We can go to the next slide. And then this is the most important thing. Before we get started, I do need to mention that any forward-looking statements and data that we present today speak only as of the date of this presentation. Forward-looking statements are based on information and estimates available to Airbnb at the time of the presentation. They're not guarantees of future performance, and we expressly disclaim any obligation to update or revise any information contained in this presentation except as required by law. So now that we got that out of the way, we can move on to the more exciting stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining as we chat through how you can improve your listing quality, which can help you to drive more bookings. So quality is an important factor because maintaining high quality can help improve your search ranking. And according to Airbnb's recent data, each 5-star review may lead to an average of 3.2% additional growth in gross booking value over the following year, and a 4.6% increase in bookings over the following year as well. We can go ahead and advance. So guests really need to be confident that Airbnb listings are going to reliably meet their expectations, and that confidence is really key in bringing first-time guests to Airbnb. Driving those returning guests to book on Airbnb again and again, so we want to make it easier for hosts like you to deliver high-quality guest experiences consistently. So in May of 2024, earlier this year, we announced a new highlight that shows how eligible listings compare to other listings around the world. Guest favorites are the listings that have been booked over 100 million times since we launched the feature in May. And these highlights are based on ratings, reviews, and reliability. And they're really just designed to help guests feel more confident when they're navigating the booking process. And that highlight indicates if a listing is somewhere in the top 10% of eligible listings or the bottom 10%. So in assessing whether a stay meets our ground rules for hosts, we consider issues reported by guests through a number of sources, including low-star ratings from the review flow, And that could be the overall star rating or a low subcategory star rating. Things that are evaluated are accuracy, check-in, cleanliness, and communication. And today we find that 1 to 3 stars overall in the overall rating categories and 1 to 2 stars in the subcategory ratings are some of the lowest performing listings on the platform and highlight opportunities for improvement, especially when similar review tags or feedback are mentioned in the guest feedback. Another thing that we are looking for are customer support violations. So these are issues related to accuracy, check-in, cleanliness, and communication that are reported by guests directly to Airbnb customer support with supporting documentation. And then the third thing we look at is cancellations by host. So we take into account those reported issues from each of these sources, as well as the severity and recency of the issue, and we may suspend or remove listings where there are severe repeated issues across multiple stays. And any of these trip issues reported by guests are shared with the host after each stay and are also available to review on the listing issues page in the host dashboard. So global active book listings with a reported issue receive 10% less gross booking value over the next 365 days than listings that don't. So that's a really important thing, I think, to be aware of. I know that listing issues can be a really sensitive topic because you're here, you're hosting, you're a professional, and sometimes things don't go perfectly. But we do know that listings that are having repeated issues are seeing less success on the platform. And I think that's a really important takeaway for hosts to kind of think about when we're talking about how you can be as successful as possible on the platform. And then Hostaway's added several features that can help you be successful on Airbnb. One of those features that can help you find success and reduce your trip issues is by adding checkout instructions. On average, hosts saw around a 5% reduction in reservations with reported issues within 90 days after adding these checkout instructions. So if you haven't leveraged this new tool, we highly recommend doing it. It's one really easy and low-hanging fruit way to address some of these issues that you might be seeing. Just go in and add those checkout instructions to make that checkout process easier for guests and then mitigate some of those guest issues that get reported. And then I'm going to pass it over, I believe, to Marcus.
All right. So we're going to review a couple of listings here that are some of the best grossing listings that we have with Airbnb right now. The first one that I want to show, it's in Grand River in Nova Scotia in Canada. This listing here has pretty much everything you need. First of all, it has 12 guests in 3 bedrooms, and it has 105 reviews. It's 4.98. Now, there's still a couple of things I wanted to highlight because it says right here, top 5% of homes based on ratings, reviews, and reliability. First of all, really bold choice to have people in the pictures, but that's actually an excellent selling point because you can visualize yourself in these images. I mean, if you look at, for example, this one over here, it's kind of hard to imagine yourself 200 feet above the lake. But if you look at the previous picture, this is a lot more relatable. So that's something you don't see in a lot of listings, and I'm sure that's driving a lot of bookings. Still, if I were to improve something, I would categorize these pictures. You could have some general pictures like these, but then have categories for living room, for bedroom, kitchen, outdoor space, and so on. Also, one thing I noticed, I was trying to make a booking here. First of all, I don't know what they're doing, but they're able to fill the weeks really well. And that must drive a lot of bookings because a lot of people are looking for a weekend getaway. But one thing that I would recommend is considering the extra person fee, because if you look at the price here, when I'm 2 guests, then if I add a 3rd guest or even 1 child, the price jumps up by 10%. And that can maybe feel rough if you're 2 parents with 1 child. And when you add more guests here, the price keeps going up. Now, the Other one I wanted to share here is a really original place in Washington State. So this is actually more of a tiny home, but they don't mention it. And also one interesting part is they don't have any Wi-Fi when you look at the amenities. But still, they managed to set the expectations right, and they got 4.97 average rating of 358 reviews. And when you look at the pictures, once again, you see there's someone right here. Maybe you can visualize yourself. Yeah, just stunning photos. One thing that I found really fascinating here, and that I think really improves the guest experience, is that they have limited this to 2 guests. So when you try to add 2 guests, that's it. And I believe that that's one factor there, because if you plan to come here with your friends, maybe someone sleeps on the sofa, you're gonna find out that the space is actually smaller than you thought. Especially when you see a picture like this, it looks small, but the surroundings are so big you may not notice that. But by limiting the guest number to 2, they have been able to identify their ideal client profile, which is a couple who is traveling, and for that, those type of guests give 5 stars on average, or 4.97. The lesson you can all learn here is, once you are able to narrow down exactly who are the guests that are happy with your place versus the people who are unhappy with it, you are able to use the settings to filter out all the others. And if you think this filtering out has a negative impact on your bookings, that's incorrect. I had to go all the way to March to find any reasonable dates. Just look at this calendar. We have October. In November, there's 2 days. You can go Wednesday and Thursday. And then December, if you want to do a Monday and Tuesday, the 9th and 10th, that's possible. But everything else is booked. This is quite remarkable. I've never seen a calendar like this. In February, yeah, you have to go to March to find a full week. And even then, you can't find a full week, but you can find 5 days. So these are some 2 really great listings that we wanted to share. And by the way, I forgot to mention in the beginning that we got some exciting news. We have a new product update that is going to be launched, and it's coming on this webinar. So stay on. Now I'll hand it over to Maria. Tell us what your team has been building here for the last couple of months.
Thank you, Marcus, and thank you, Julia. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria. I'm work on the products at Hostaway. Those are really 2 great examples of how to do things well in an Airbnb and make sure that you get the expectations and the quality up, right? So at Hostaway, we have added all the features that you need to ensure that your Airbnb guests understand what to expect when they book your property and to deliver high quality experiences as they expect. So what is new in the product? And even before we go to the quality dashboard, I think there should be another 3 slides before this. The first thing that we added is, and Julia mentioned it before, the listings edit channel specific. If you are a Hostaway customer, you know what that is. You can now raise expectations beforehand and increase the transparency to basically avoid any unwanted surprises for your guests. There are 2 new sections and the channel is specific now, so called listing expectations and listing checkout information. They're really super simple to use. For listing expectations here, you just need to select the topic that is relevant to your property and add a description to it. Click on save and export, and they will appear in the listing, in the public Airbnb listing page under things to know. So I'll leave you here an example. So if we go to the next slide. Also mentioned before by Julia, in a similar way, you can use listing checkout information. I just saw a passing comment from one of our viewers today that since they said the listing checkout information, the customers, the guests, leave the property in a very good condition. So that's actually a very good value realization there for this feature. But basically what you can do here is also select the checkout task, give some instructions to the guest, and these, when you save an export from Hostaway, will be published on the app, on the guest app. So super simple, super fast, and a very easy way to set those expectations and quality as well, and receive the quality back. Now, As important as it is to set expectations for you as a host, it's also very important to react quickly to any issues, escalations with your properties, because as we've been talking about just now, these will impact your host status, your property ranking, etc. So we have added also a Airbnb notifications feature. So this is under settings, notifications, under the category other. And I totally encourage you to turn those on. As for every notification, you will be able to receive them in any channel that you want. So on dashboard, mobile app, email, or SMS. And basically, this notification will tell you what account has the issue and will provide you with the link to fix the problem and the instructions on how to fix the problem. So this feature is particularly important for those of you that manage multiple Airbnb accounts in Hostaway, but also for everyone else. And again, to repeat, that's under the notification settings. So the big announcement here is the quality dashboard. We have divided the release in 2 phases. The first phase is going to happen very soon. And actually, at the end of this presentation, I will be recruiting some of you to help us also pilot this a little bit more. But basically, the new host quality dashboard, the mission of this dashboard is to become a specialized tool designed to help you monitor and enhance the performance of your properties. I think this is particularly relevant because one problem alone may not have a big effect, but it's the combination of those that can lead to your listing having some issues or even eventually being suspended or your superhost status being lost, which would basically reduce a loss of revenue, right? So with this dashboard, what we want to give you is basically a unique vision, a complete vision in one place of what is good and bad with your portfolio. And when it's bad, where you can see clearly, when it's bad, actually, that you can see clearly what the problem is and put a quick solution to it. Think about it not only from the point of view of a mechanical kind of issue resolution tool, but also as a source of insights that you can use and leverage to improve you, the portfolio, and your team, including the owners that you manage, because you're going to have a ton of information here that will help you drive those decisions and those relationships as well. So what is it going to be including? This is just basically a first version of the dashboard that we see here today. And if you know Hostaway, for those of you that are customers of Hostaway, we constantly iterate the product and we constantly bring improvements to it. The first version that we will see here includes some metrics, some overall metrics of the portfolio. They are color-coded to clearly indicate what percentage of the listings or what number of the portfolio is in good status, needs some attention, as a warning status, they're at risk, and hopefully never suspended. And you can do some comparisons. You can filter also by different types of filters that we have there. You can also do some comparisons sometime, but we want to bring a little bit more graphical representation of that time-based analysis in the future. So underneath the main metrics, you will have then the detail for each of every listing. And in here, you will be able to see in one glance, so the average review score per listing, the number of reviews of each listing, what is the quality status today, and what are the issues. So review issues, yes, violations. There's also another, it doesn't show here, but there's also for cancellations as well. And every time you hover over one of those numbers, we will tell you what's reservation, what is the problem, and what do you need to do. When you click on read more, it's not clearly indicated here, but when you click on read more, we will show all of the information for all of the issues. And then again, similarly, like with the notifications, you will have the opportunity to go to Airbnb from Hostaway and fix the issue there if it's fixable there in that way. So this is the first version, the first phase of the quality dashboard. We call it listings quality, which is being piloted now. The second phase, if you go to the next slide, is going to be the reviews quality. So this one is going to be super useful to you because we're going to go down, dig deeper in the detail of the type of review, the categories, and you will have a very quick and easy way to identify what are the things that are working, what are the themes and the categories that you need to improve on, if there's any need to improve on. So basically, we're going to bring the reviews. We're going to analyze it here. We're going to give you the insights that you need to act upon based on this data. There's more. This is what I can introduce today, but there's more that we're planning. So definitely keep an eye on this. If you're interested in piloting the host quality dashboards, drop me an email to product@hostaway.com. I will personally be looking at and making sure that that your desires are becoming reality, and include your Hostaway ID, login, and email in it, please. So that's it. I think it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to see this live. I think it's going to bring a ton of value to our customers. And yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maria. We got one more feature coming up here, and Julia is going to present that.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. Really exciting updates, Maria. Thanks so much for sharing. I think this is a great way to help hosts take really scalable action and gives you amazing insights to make sure that you're addressing any issues in real time. So congrats on the work you've done there. All right. So we can go ahead and move forward. So we have the new listing promotion, which I believe is a new feature Hostaway added within the last month as well. And so a really great tool for you to take advantage of to drive bookings for your new or unbooked properties. In a recent review that we did, listings with the new listing promotion enabled generated 79% more bookings over the next 365 days than listings that didn't have one enabled. So definitely something to think about taking advantage of. The new listing promotion is exactly what it sounds like. It's a great way to help you get your first bookings faster with a new promotion. Sometimes guests are a little reticent to book with a host who hasn't gotten a few reviews under your belt, and this promotion is specifically designed to help you get your first 3 reviews so that you can have a star rating on Airbnb. You don't have a star rating until you've got those first 3 reviews, so you offer a 20% discount in exchange for a discounted rate to hopefully help you get that listing set up for success, offering it a competitive value. So that you can get those first three reviews and hopefully a great star rating. Approximately 50% of all the listings that received a booking on Airbnb in the second half of 2023 had the new listing promotion applied. So this is a really, really valuable promotion to consider enabling if you haven't enabled it yet. And as I mentioned before, it's something you can apply to your new and unbooked listings. So it's called the new listing promotion, but if you have a listing with less than 3 bookings, you can enable this promotion across those properties as well. So if you've got a listing that's struggling to make it on the platform, and you're looking to find a way to get those bookings and build your reputation, this is a really, really great promotion to consider enabling. And then just some other really exciting components of the feature. This is how your discount is merchandised on Airbnb. So you get a new line item on your price breakdown on your actual listing page. So there's strike-through pricing on that listing page. The guests can see that they're getting a deal. You also get strike-through styling in search results. So, somebody has a listing listed at $353 and yours is listed at $272. It's discounted. You've got strike-through pricing for it, and we'll show what your typical price is as well for that listing, so that, again, guests know that this is a really good deal. You also get a special call out on your listing page and the opportunity for placement in emails to guests. So if a guest is searching for a stay in Waterville, Washington, and they haven't made that booking yet, they've searched, they dropped off, maybe they're going to come back later and look again. We'll send a reminder email to guests saying, hey, you were looking earlier, you didn't book. Here are some listings to consider booking. And listings with that 20% discount have an opportunity to be placed in those emails to guests that haven't completed the booking process. All right, I'll pass it back over to Marcus.
All right, it's time to start with the Q&A section. Once again, if you put any questions in the chat, please put them in the Q&A section now. I just wanted to comment on before we go there, on the new listing promotion. There's also a very strong psychological aspect there. quite often when people browse for something to book, and this is not only on Airbnb, but pretty much anything, they will open up a bunch of windows or options, and then the one they find that they like, they suddenly notice that nobody else has ever bought it, and there's no reviews or anything, and then they just close the tab and don't end up booking it. Now, what the new listing promotion will do is tell them before they even click on it, will tell them this is a new listing, so their expectations are already correct. And of course, their expectations are going to be, okay, well, this place has no reputation. I'm taking a risk here, so I should be paying a lower than market price. But then the listing promotion has that minus 20%. There is really no reason not to use it. And all right, there were a few product related questions here. Maybe Maria can take a few of them. For example, let's see. Yes, so Maria, the reviews that are coming from Airbnb into Hostaway, do we include the private note that goes from the guest to the host in those?
Yes.
All right. That's usually, sometimes on these webinars, I'm not sure if you know the context of why I think I'm a expert here, but not only am I the CEO of the biggest PMS in the space, but I also travel extensively. And I almost always use vacation rentals. I've done almost 100 trips on Airbnb alone, but I don't only use Airbnb. I use other platforms too. And 100 may not sound like a lot, but I'm not talking about weekend getaways. I stay several months or usually a month somewhere. So to do 100 months somewhere on Airbnb, that's why I've seen a lot in this space. And that's something that I can recommend to every host out there. I see some of the questions in the chat. You need to try it out. You need to see what it's like to go to a different place, one that you don't know anything about, and try to rent a home there, because the experience will really give you an angle and a viewpoint and see where you can either save some time or provide substantially more value for your guests. So I know it's really tough as a property manager to get the time to actually travel, but consider it a part of the job. You have to know what it's like. And I can tell you, out of these 100 stays, it's very clear that some of them are hosted by people who have never stayed in an Airbnb, and the experience just isn't there. They haven't thought about the things that a traveler needs that you don't need in a normal home. Here's a question from Rhythm Kana. Is there an integration with PriceLabs or a similar feature embedded in Hostaway? Maybe Josh would like to answer that.
Yeah, sure. So is there an integration with PriceLabs is the question?
Yeah, or a similar feature embedded in Hostaway.
So we have our own.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, were we talking about dynamic pricing? Yes, we have a dynamic pricing. Hostaway has its own dynamic pricing tool. We released that, I don't know, a couple of months ago now. But if you're a Hostaway client and you're looking for dynamic pricing, we have our own in-house dynamic pricing tool. And you can turn that on by just going to your dashboard. Feel free to reach out to your CSM. Everybody here on the call, it's a member of the Hostaway platform, has a dedicated customer success manager. If you see random emails in your inbox from a customer success manager and you want to know that it's not to sell you anything, it's to help you out with these things like Marcus and Maria are showing you now. So dynamic pricing in the dashboard now. So yes, we have an integration with PriceLabs, but we also have our own in-house, which we are big fans of.
I can go ahead. I saw a couple questions about the new listing promotion, so I'll go ahead and answer those. The new listing promotion, can you limit the bookings to the first few weeks instead of someone booking Christmas at 20% off rate? At this time, Dan, no, there isn't a way to do that. What I typically recommend hosts think about is what your booking lead times look like. It's not a perfect process, but if you have a 30-day booking window, maybe you want to think about when to time activating that new listing promotion, or blocking out some really high value dates if you need to make sure that you're not undercutting yourself for those big holidays. But that's the best I can offer today. It's certainly something that we're aware of hosts would like to see, and we'll see what happens in the future with that. I did see one other question about the new listing promo. Maybe it was about the requirements, I think. So basically, if you have a listing that's new or has less than 3 bookings, you're eligible to enable it. Once you get those first 3 bookings, the discount goes away. So it's just a one-time kind of promotion you can apply to any of those unbooked or properties with again less than 3 bookings. And then once those 3 bookings have been made, again that promotion falls off. So you don't need to worry about turning it off or anything like that.
All right. I see one question here, probably for Maria. Pamela has rejected the new listing promotion and would now like to turn it on. Is it possible to turn it on afterwards?
They rejected it. Yes, it is possible. We can reset it for him. What was the name of the question so the name of the person, I can find it and get back?
Pamela, it's in the answered section.
Okay, thanks.
And then I saw a question about how often should we be editing listings. I actually just was looking into this recently because I've heard hosts say, I just moved my pictures around or did a couple of things and, I wonder if that will help. And the truth is, like, if you're not making any qualitative changes to your listing, there's really no algorithm benefit. But if you're adding seasonal pictures or updating your amenities, or you have like a true update to add to the property, those are things that can absolutely influence your performance in the algorithm. So if you have high quality new pictures you want to add, seasonal photos, you've added an amenity, you want to clarify something in your property to highlight, one of your top features, those are all things that can absolutely influence how you're ranking. But just going in and making changes to make changes, from my understanding, it doesn't drive impact.
Yeah, as Julia is working for a publicly traded company, she's quite limited in what she can say. But I see a lot of questions on here about the ranking on Airbnb and how to get higher up. There's a very simple test you can do. Airbnb only makes money if they provide value to a guest. In other words, a guest pays something, and when they get the service that you provide, if they're happy with it, that's when Airbnb has a good business. So everything they will do, every decision they will make is based on that, on making money, because that's why companies are mandated to do by law. It's not what they want to do, it's what they have to do. So when you think about, for example, reorganizing your photos, the question you need to ask yourself, okay, as a guest, if I see photo 3 and 6, if they were switched places, would the guest get better value? Would the faulty outlet where I try to charge my phone, would that get fixed? Would the fridge that's just a little bit too warm, would it get colder just by swapping those photos? If the answer is no, probably there's no value there for the guest and not for Airbnb, and you shouldn't be doing it. But would the guest book if they saw a nicer picture of the hot tub with the sunset rather in full daylight? Probably that's something that provides value, because people can imagine what a sunset looks like when you're in the hot tub. So I see a lot of similar questions here. I think that's a bit of a blanket answer there. Maria and Josh, feel free to pick up any questions you see.
I saw another question regarding reviews. If we are going to put review information on a CSV, well, that actually exists today in the reviews model. You can go to the reviews and download CSV information on the reviews as well.
And then here from Rosalind was asking about our booking engine, Maria. If we plan on doing any improvements there, I can tell you that we 100% are looking to improve on the booking engine. And as far as adding a blog, this looks like you're trying to do now, we can help you out with that. It's not possible right now with our booking engine, but it's fairly simple to do that on some other platforms and link them from inside of your booking engine, Rosalind. So if you want to just reach out to customer success at hostaway.com, we can walk you through that. But yes, to answer your question, and maybe Maria, you can go a little bit more color on it, but we are looking to continue to update our booking engine and evolve it.
Yeah, Natalie also had a question if we have any updates coming up. So I guess Maria is quite excited that we do have some updates coming up, but we have done quite a lot of updates in the last year. Maria, I don't know. I'm not sure if you want to share a bit of teasers.
So, well, many things, right? The on the booking engine, and just following on Josh's comments, so something that we've done recently is to improve a lot the performance of the booking engine. But something that we're looking forward in the future is add more improvements to each of the specific components of the booking engine, in particular the listing one, and also add more SEO capabilities there. So that's on the one hand. But almost in every domain, we just recently also, we are piloting QuickBooks integration, financials, dates, more improvements that we did on financials reporting, but more are coming definitely this year as well. On the listing side of things, I think, and on Airbnb particularly, what you're saying, checkout instructions, the listing expectations, the new listing promotion, and the dashboard. We're going to work full time on this quality dashboard. I think are going to be the biggest things from now to the end of the year.
All right, I'm going to pick up a question here from Jesse, who had a bad experience recently with some bad reviews because the guests were staying in a tree house and complaining that there were spiders and termites. And I feel for you. I think that's terrible. And Jesse has received 5-star reviews in the past. I'm wondering if there's anything they can do. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about those reviews, but the fact is that some guests are not going to be comfortable with cobwebs or with termites. What I would recommend, like I said earlier, is try to identify your ideal guest profile. Try to find out what is it with the other guests that those that left 5-star reviews. How old were they? How many were they? Where were they from? Why did they book your place? Did they book it for a unique experience, or did they book it because it was the only thing available in the region at that time? And then look at those who left you lower star reviews and see if you can draw any conclusions from that. And if you don't know a lot of these things, like, hey, why did the guest book, or how many are there, or why are they coming here in the first place? These are the things you should be asking your guest. And I know it can seem intimidating, but it will be crucial for your business success to be able to identify who it is that enjoys your property and who it is that doesn't enjoy your property. And then you can do changes to your pictures, to your description, or in the very creative Earthlight 6 example that I showed earlier, they probably found out that anyone who's more than just a couple, if it's 3 people, they're not going to have a good time. So they just limited the number of guests to 2. I think that's a brilliant example of knowing who is going to be happy with staying here. And once again, that will improve your ranking because Airbnb, they want to provide good value to the guests.
Marcus, I see a couple questions I can go ahead and take. Any suggestions on how to drive more weekday rentals? Promotions seem to help with views, but they don't convert to bookings. I think this is a great question. I would encourage you to do a couple of things. One is, if your listing is getting views, it means that guests are curious, and they probably have 5, 6, 7, or 8 tabs open with listings they're considering, and they're just simply not choosing your listing. And so let's look at similar listings in your area to try and understand what your competition is offering that you're not, or ways that you can kind of just up level the way that you're positioning your listing, whether it be pictures or amenities or your description. What little things you can do to really shift the conversion rates for yourself. So if they're clicking in and they're looking, this is great. And so it's really figuring out how to capture them, because they're most likely booking another property. So I definitely recommend looking at the similar listings tool. I'll drop some information on that in the chat. I think that's a really great tool to use to understand, listings in your area that are similar, that are getting booked, and listings that are going unbooked as well. So you can look and see kind of what things you can do to help your listing be successful on the platform. I do also see another question about wish list additions having the potential of hurting a listing as well. For example, the example uses Facebook groups do favorite Fridays, and everyone shares their listing, and people get tons of wish list additions but no bookings. And yeah, it is true that if your listing is only getting wish list additions and no bookings, that's not going to, be the best for your property. Our algorithm is looking at the bookings that your listing is getting, the reviews it's getting, the wish list additions it's getting. If your property is highly, coveted and booked and wish listed, and guests are having great experiences, that's going to help you. If you're trying to game the system and just adding the listing to wish list through a community, that might not help you in the long run. If the listing just continues to go unbooked. It isn't to say that having it added to a few wish lists before it's gotten those bookings is bad. That can be super helpful in increasing the popularity of the property. But long term, having 50 wish list additions on a Friday isn't necessarily going to be the way to stay competitive.
I can take another one.
And it looks like, can we fight reported issues? You can definitely work with CS if there's a reported issue at your listing. If a guest is saying, hey, they didn't have this amenity that I booked, you should be able to work with customer support to resolve that or verify if it's true or not. If your listing is being considered for suspension or removal, you can also appeal that with customer support. I'll drop a link in the chat as well about how to go about going through that process as well.
All right, Maria, there's one question here from Adam about AI-based features. I think it's a very relevant, very good question. Any comments?
Well, we already have AI-based features. We have a chatbot that helps you draft beautiful answers to your guests based on listing data, based on the conversation data, on the history data. You have that on the inbox, actually. You'll see a little icon there that will help you draft answers to you for guests. It also helps you with translations, etc. We also have a content generator for descriptions based on AI for listing descriptions to generate beautiful content and content that is also sets you out in Airbnb as well. And of course, we have dynamic pricing, which is also AI. It's AI, it's machine learning that uses millions of data points to provide insights and recommendations on what pricing will make you competitive in the market, and something that you should really use for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, Maria, I would say it's a great question. We were the first to bring AI technology to property management software. We were the first to market with that. We do have a heavy focus on AI as far as what that looks like in 2025 roadmap wise. Stay tuned. We'll have a webinar on that, I'm sure, here soon with either myself and Marcus or me and Maria on our weekly CS that we have. But we do have a heavy focus on AI, and we will continue to invest in that technology.
All right, there's a lot of questions about our booking engine, and I'm very glad to see that. It's a great way to drive direct bookings, and yeah, we're constantly working on improving that, as said before. There's one interesting question here. When are we adding in-house damage insurance? All I can say right now is that you don't have to wait long.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent question. Then there's a few questions here about guests who are tricky. So I'm not sure if Julia can comment on this, but let me see here. I think it was someone who asked about guests who are trying to get rid of the cleaning fees by finding ways to prove that the place is not clean, and also someone said that Airbnb always sides with the guest. I will answer with my answer first, and then maybe if Julia is able to add or has anything to add, that would be good. First of all, nobody goes on vacation or a business trip in order to spend even 1 minute complaining about anything. What people want when they rent on Airbnb is they want a place where they can go, they can sleep in the bed, they can take a shower, they can go out the door, they can make their coffee, maybe they can watch TV or work a bit, use the Wi-Fi. That's what they want. What they don't want to do, oh, and of course, the reason why they're on the trip, they want to meet their friends, they want to see a new place, they want to explore a fantastic new location. That's what they want to do. People don't go on trips in order to spend time on the phone with customer support. And I can tell you as a traveler, I have been to places. Usually these are the places my wife tells me never to book because they're below 4.9, below 4.8, that have had serious issues. And it's not always black and white. Airbnb doesn't choose any sides. It's a two-sided market. And for those of you who have built two-sided marketplaces, you know that there's never really a clear-cut answer to that. So as a guest, like I say, Airbnb doesn't always side with the guest. It's that simple. If they did that, they wouldn't have a business. But once again, if you have guests that are trying to go around the rules, probably you're getting the wrong people booking your property, or you're getting the right people booking it for the wrong reason. So once again, have a look at who are the guests making problems and have a look at the property. Sometimes if you have a property, and I speak from my own experience, I had a subpar property and I had a ton of problems with the guest. Turns out, problem wasn't really the guest. Problem was actually the property, because it attracted a certain type of guests that made a lot of problems. And that's when I realized this is probably not a good property to rent out short term. And I rented it out long term and I had no problems whatsoever. But do keep that in mind, that if you have problems with guests, not everyone has problems with guests, but there might be a way you can filter out the wrong guest. Julia, did you want to comment on this topic?
Yeah, I did just drop information on disputing reviews into the chat, but I think I would just add or double down on what you're saying, basically. Spending time on the phone with customer support is a real drag for somebody on vacation. It's not what most people want to be doing while they're on vacation. So I do think that's a really, really valuable thing to keep in mind. I know that it's hard to keep it in mind when your job every day is just keeping the listings as perfect as possible. But most people go on vacation just a couple times a year. And so they're looking forward to spending that time doing what it is that they love with the people they love, not spending time disputing things with customer support, sending in documentation. Obviously, there are bad guests. They happen from time to time. And Airbnb does our best to make sure that bad guests aren't allowed to continue booking on the platform. But yes, I think it's a really valid point, Marcus.
All right, Maria, Josh, you see any more questions you'd like to answer? There's quite a lot of product-related questions here. For example, it seems several people are asking, when will we launch the quality dashboard?
No. Yes, so the first page that I showed, the listings quality, is in pilot phase now, so in beta test now. So the second part, the reviews dashboard, we hope to have it right by the end of the year, before even the end of the year as well.
There was a question about the reviews. Yes, the reviews that we get in Hostaway, are they only from Airbnb or also other platforms?
Oh, no, they are from all the partners that we connect to. That have reviews obviously in their flow. So that includes the three main channels, Airbnb, Booking.com, and Vrbo. And also you can request reviews through the booking engine as well for your direct sales channel. And all of those are aggregated in the reviews module.
Josh, Julia, any more questions?
I will drop my email address in the chat. There are a lot of questions I won't be able to get to all today. So if folks want to email me, you can at namer-webinars@airbnb.com.
Quickly wanted to say that, I'm meeting with a lot of clients here in Phoenix at the Verma conference, and customers that have been on the Hostaway platform for quite some time. If you're seeing emails in your inbox from somebody that says they're your customer success manager, that's something that we provide here at Hostaway free of charge. They're not reaching out to you to be your escalated support. They're not reaching out to you to ask if you're having issues or to sell you anything. They're reaching out to you to help you with the platform, find things that maybe you're doing outside the platform that you could do inside of Hostaway, save you some money, save you some time, and then, generate you some more income. So if you see somebody reaching out to you, a customer success manager, get back to them so they can schedule a meeting with you. Or if you don't know who your customer success manager is, just email customersuccess@hostaway.com and we'll set up a call with you. But it's a benefit of being a part of the platform, so utilize it to your advantage. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. And I just wanted to remind you all that we also have a conference coming up. It's going to be our first ever user conference. So if you're a Hostaway user or you're planning to become one, and you happen to be around Miami the 7th to 8th of November, so in 3 weeks, then by all means, come and join us. There's still a few tickets left. We upgraded the venue 3 times already, and I feel really bad for our events team. And we have almost sold out all the tickets for the biggest venue we could find. So it's gonna be a great time, everyone, and there you'll get to meet us all, and you'll get to ask a lot more questions. So thank you, Julia, very much for joining us. Thank you, Josh and Maria, and see you again next month.
Thank you, everyone.